Hey guys, so welcome back. So, as you can see today, I am leaving Cyrodiil. There's BRUMA in the distance, heading back to Skyrim. I think I'll try to get to the old player home in Oblivion another day. Yeah, so I thought I'd make this as kind of like an off-the-cuff video. Yeah, there's the Blaze Temple up there. Yeah. So I just thought I'd just mention, as I'm just walking through Cyrodiil back to Skyrim. I talked about a Catholic practice that a lot of Protestants really condemned, which I want, at least early in the Protestant Reformation, now they've taken it up again, happily, is the practice of going on pilgrimage. The idea is that you go on these long distances to travel to these holy sites to pray there, and a lot of people have said, that these things are pointless. You get no spiritual benefit out of them. Happily, a lot of Protestants these days in practice have changed that. Just like going to church, even at home, it is a good way to reconnect with your faith, reconnect with God. Even if there's not even talking about indulgences attached to them or anything like that. But if you're a traditional Catholic, you're going to Rome, it helps reinforce the importance of the papacy. If you go to Jerusalem, it helps reinforce the fact that Christ died for you as a real historical event. It helps you realize that, hey, this is something real. I need to put effort into this. I need to make sure I'm doing what needs to be done. Now, while it's so obvious that pilgrimage is good and useful, even to the point where no one's really challenging anymore like they used to, like they did 500 years ago. And yeah, you can say, oh, maybe you do better things with giving to the poor, etc. And those are great too. I'm not saying those aren't good things. Not that giving to the poor isn't good, you should. But, if these same people who are saying that often have big screen TVs, video games like this, spending money on God and worshipping Him and praying to Him is a pretty good thing to invest in. That being said, even biblically, in the Old Testament, I'm not saying it's a commandment you have to go on pilgrimage, but it does parallel the fact that pilgrimage was an important part of the Old Covenant. So for example, think of the 3 great pilgrim feasts in spring and the summer and the start of the fall. Passover, Pentecost, and Rosh and Sukkot, Feast of Tabernacles in the fall. You would
Yes. You're clear to enter.
Yeah, back to Skyrim now.
Feel free to have through.
You were commanded expressly by God to go on pilgrimage, and God didn't have to arrange it that way. There was a reason why He did that. Now, we know from writings of the Church Fathers that God wanted there to be only one center of worship in Jerusalem, centered in Jerusalem, in part to show that was Christ was going to die, rise again. That's where it was all going to happen. But also to emphasize the fact that when it comes to serving God and worshiping, you have to worship Him His way. You have to go where God is. You gotta get out of your own mindset. You gotta. I think if I put it right, the idea is that you cannot worship God in whichever way you please or wherever you please. You have to do it God's way, and that means for some people personal sacrifice and travel. Think of it like this: Simon Peter, love you me more than these. Peter had to leave his hometown to evangelize. So it is a useful reminder. Maybe not everyone is called to be a missionary, but in principle, it's a useful reminder from time to time, even for people who are called to stay at home, that hey, God needs to come first. Your relationship with Him is the most important thing. And so there is, biblically, something useful about going on pilgrimage. Speak as someone who has been on pilgrimages, who's been on these trips, it always leaves me with a reminder that, hey, I need to make these sacrifices for God. Now, yes, not everyone has to go on pilgrimage. Yes, you can worship God in your own home and go to church in your own community if you have the opportunity as a traditional Catholic. That's great. Not a lot of us don't have that opportunity. But but it is a joyful way of realizing that this is something that is to be joyful. It is a sacrifice, but it's something that does bring you closer to God, and it's a good physical way of reminding yourself of that, especially when things are hard. Because sometimes, let's be honest, life as being a traditional Catholic or even a junior Christian, who's even pretending to be faithful, it can be hard. It can suck. But yeah, so just some random thoughts on pilgrimage. As I come back to Skyrim. Anyway, that's just my random thoughts on pilgrimage and the practice. There's a lot of pilgrimage locations that Church Catholics could go to. There's Lourdes. There's Rome, of course. Yeah, there's the indulgences for the 7 churches. Of course, Jerusalem, the big one. And even some unofficial pilgrimages now that I think you could probably make a pilgrimage to Eclona as an SPX to the tomb of Archbishop Marcel Lefebvre, as well as de Compostela in Spain, which even a lot of non-Christians do as is a touristy thing, which is unfortunate that they're not getting what it's really all about deep down. But hey, it makes anything that if it not even nudges them even a little bit closer to God, I'm for it. That's my take. So welcome back to Falcon, guys. Yeah, I'm not gonna deal with the bandits just because I'm too lazy. I just want a quiet walk off the sides. There's Leaf Falls Barrow in the distance, as you can see. Yeah.
Such a fine day. Smell the air. Isn't it wonderful?
Yeah, anyway, guys, with that view, I'll leave you here. God bless. And if you give it a chance, check out an SSPX channel.